Hello everyone, welcome to the Ozark Outpost. This is Global War 85, Operation Warthog, NATO 15.2. That's right. I have never played a game into turn 15 before, so this is uncharted territory. Okay, they don't have anything to repair, so we're right into tech. Advanced SLBM, 2 dice on SDI and Top Gun. There's a yes on Advanced SLBM and a yes on SDI. So Advanced SLBM is finished and SDI goes to stage 2. So, not that they advanced SLBM at this point doesn't matter because they can't shoot them at the Soviets. Okay, so there's no global operations. There's nothing nuclear to request. They can't do any strategic nukes. So we are into purchase. No military aid. For the purchase, they're going to spend 8 on a pair of SSNs, spending 26. Now you see a yellow barrel there. That's my color code for early generation MBTs. I painted some for NATO and the US just in case they're needed at some point in the future. But since I'm short on next gen MBTs right now, I'm substituting with these. So either black or yellow is next generation. So spending 26 on 2 next gen MBTs, a mech, a field artillery, and 2 A-10s. Then we've got 8 on a pair of mechs. We have 6 on an ASF. 12 3 times on 2 fighters each, and then what is that? 6 on an MBT and a SPAG, and they're saving 1. And I have to deduct missiles here. I forgot to do that. See if I can spot it across the. Okay, that's 6. How many I need to take off there. Okay, combat movement. There's going to be some fighting this time. NATO is they're going to try to put the Soviets in dire straits. So, the supercarrier there combat moves out of port into M10. So then this ASW chopper changes its patrol station to the supercarrier, so then it can go into M11 for attack on the submarine. Also joining the attack on those submarines is going to be the destroyer from M6, 1, 2, 3. He gets in there. The cruiser from M3, 1, 2, 3, 4. He has a port bonus. Oh wait, a cruiser, never mind. A cruiser can't attack submarines, never mind that. But down here in M4, the frigate and the SSN that are down here can. So he goes in there. The SSN is going to risk the SOSUS that is still active because of Northern Caucasia. He's going in there. A fighter based here in Marmara is going to fly 1-2 to get in there. and he'll pair with, say, with the destroyer or the frigate, either one, and get in there and use his sub attack. So NATO does have advanced sonar, so the destroyer and the frigate negate the first strike of both of the defending Soviet subs. So there's that one. Here, the forces in central Turkey, which are the guys on this card right here, they are going to attack Syria. They're going to be supported by this attack chopper from Marmara, this attack bomber, and no, wait a minute. No. I don't want to do that. Change my mind. I don't want to do that, because if I don't send any air in there, then they only have 2 defenders. The SAM can't defend. So it'll just be the ground forces. No air units attacking Syria. Gonna try to hurt the Soviets a little bit there. Let me look at something real quick here. Okay. Then I'm going to move around here. I think I'm calling an audible on the fly here. Yeah, I am. He's going to go this way instead. This one's going to go this way instead. Okay, here we go now. Hang on a second. I got to see what's going on over here. What do you got? What do you got? Give me that. Get out of that. Sorry, the dogs are chewing on something they shouldn't be chewing on. Had to save a canine life. Okay. The forces in eastern Ukraine are going to attack Volgograd. They're going to be supported in their attack. Well, these 2 next-gen MBTs from Romania are going to go 1-2 to get in there and join that attack. 5 A-10s from Romania are also going to go join the attack. An attack bomber and 2 fighters from Marmara will fly 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. They'll fly 4 to get into the attack. So there's an attack bomber. And 2 fighters that are going to come up here and join in. That's that attack. Then the forces here in western Ukraine are going to attack Smolensk. They're going to attack Smolensk. Not the advanced ASF. He's going somewhere else. Then there is a little bitty dot of a connection there, a little spit of land that connects Baltic states to Leningrad. I mean, it doesn't come to a point there. There's an actual dash of the border in between. So the forces here in Baltic states are going to attack Leningrad. This advanced ASF 1, 2, 3 is coming up here to join the attack. The ASF from the Supercarrion A-12 is joining. This fighter from Romania will fly 1, 2, 3, 4 up here to join the attack. And that's that for there. Boy, which way do you go? Do the Soviets want to scramble the early gen fighters in Novgorod into Leningrad or Smolensk? Well, I guess since there's no air in Smolensk at all, that's where they're going to scramble those two early gen fighters to. Okay, and then the forces in Nordland are attacking Murmansk. They're going to be supported by 6 cruise missiles. One is fired by the SSN here in A8. 1, 2. The other 5 are being fired from A12. So they're going to shoot 1, 2. Wait, they can't do that. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I forgot. The ones that are shooting the cruise missiles are combat moving into A14. That's how that happens. And then they're within 2 spaces of Murmansk. So then from here, they shoot their missiles, 1 into Leningrad and then 2 into Murmansk. So you got ground forces and 2 fighters over here and the cruise missiles. And I think that is it for combat movement. I said NATO is going to trying to give the Soviets a super gut punch here in home country. All right, so let's start with, we'll start with Syria. I'm just going to move his card over here. I'm not going to put the stuff on the battle board because there's only two early gen MBTs defending. The ASW chopper and the SAM are in the retirement box. So there's the forces that are facing off there. NATO still hasn't got any chemical warfare. And that is desert. So we'll have -1 for the attacking ground units. So here's 2 field artillery in first strike at 1. They both miss. Here is light infantry at 1. He misses. 4 MBTs at 3. Okay, there is 1 hit. And then 2 next gen MBTs at 5. They miss. So we got 2 defenders at 2. They both miss. One of them comes off. And 2 next gen MBTs. Both miss. 4 MBTs. They all miss. Light infantry. Miss. Of course, the field artilleries are now in the retirement box. There's the defender. He misses. 2 next-gen MBTs. Miss. 4 MBTs. Okay, there is a hit with a 3. That's what was needed. Defender misses. He needed a 2. Okay, so he is off of there. I'll put the card back over here where it goes. These guys, of course, are now killed. That comes off there. And NATO has captured Syria for the forces of good. So that's a land battle star for NATO. And Soviets are in a little bit of trouble now in the Middle East. They have been exposed. Okay, the next thing we'll do is the sea battle in M11. As I said, the 2 Soviet subs have their first strike negated by passive sonar. The SOSUS zone is, however, going to get a first strike shot at that NATO SSN. And I believe a 3 does the job. Now, the NATO SSN is also first strike. So he gets to roll 2. He misses. So the attacking SSN is sunk by the captor mine. Didn't want that to happen, but you know, sometimes you got to take the chance. So now we have we've got a fighter in white at 3. We have a frigate in blue at 2 and a destroyer in red at 4. So, yeah. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Everybody missed. Do the Soviets see any benefit to silent running? At this point, not really. They're trapped. They're not going to get any support. So they're going to fight. So we've got the diesel boat in red and the SSN in blue. Or the diesel boat in yellow and the SSN in blue. And there's 2 hits. So the fighter isn't eligible, so that sinks. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot to give the ASW chopper its shot. Well, anyway, regardless, those 2 ships are sunk. I forgot to give the ASW chopper its shot, so here that is. Okay, so he missed. So now because they attacked, well, the fighter has lost its sub detection So only the ASW chopper can shoot again in round 2. It missed, and this time the Soviet subs are going to go on silent running. Now they see wisdom in living to fight another day. That did not work out at all the way NATO wanted it to. All right, now I will move the Volgograd fight over to the board. Okay, here's the fight in Volgograd. No first strike, no terrain. Air cav boosted with close air support. So we get 2 fighters on air superiority for 1 air hit. And that's going to be an air battle star to NATO. Okay, now there's 2 MBTs. That's 1 reactive armor land target select hit. Now we have an air cav. That's a miss. Five A-10s. There's 2 hits, and those are armor penetration, which is reactive armor hits. So that goes up to 3 on that. And then we've got 3 next-gen MBTs. There's 1 more reactive armor land target select and 1 regular land target select. I don't know if that's going to matter, but that's the way it scores. Attack chopper, that is a general hit. And attack bomber, that's a miss. Okay, defending. We have 4 early gen fighters on air superiority. They missed. They needed 3s. Okay, 2 paramilitary. They both missed, and 4 next gen MBT. Okay, there is 1 reactive armor hit and 1 general hit. One reactive armor hit, 1 general hit. Okay, so the attackers have 4, 6, 7 hits, and they needed, no, they need more than that. Okay, so we got to put them. So 4 reactive armor hits kills off the next gen MBTs. 1 land target select kills a paramilitary. 1 air hit and 1 general hit. 1 air hit kills an early gen fighter, and the Soviets are going to take the general hit on the paramilitary because the early gen fighters roll one pip higher. So then 1 hit has to be taken by the attacker, and NATO's going to put that on an MBT. Okay, so round 2. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot. There it is right there. They also have to take a hit on a next-gen MBT. So that leaves 2 of those. Now we're all good and going to round 2. So let's just start off with the 5A10s and see what they can do. They can get the hit that was the hits that were needed and then some. There's 4 hits, they needed 3. Okay, so the Soviets are wiped out. 3 early gen fighters defend for 2 hits. Okay, these guys are gone. And NATO is going to take the hit on an MBT and an A10. Now, in the next game that I play, I won't be able to do that, but we'll talk about that at that time. Okay, so I'm going to put this back, and I will get the Smolensk forces over here. Okay, here we go. No first strike for anybody, no terrain. We've got 4 mechs boosted to 4 by 2 attack choppers. So 3 fighters on air superiority, and I did give NATO its land battle star for Volgograd. And I took their income up 1 to 81 and the Soviets down 1 to 44. So 3 fighters. And there's 3 air hits. There are only 2 enemy fighters, so that's going to be 2 air hits and 1 general hit. And that's going to be 2 air battle stars for NATO. Okay, so now we have a Sam taking 2 shots. They both miss. Okay, a mech at 3, miss. 4 mechs at 4. There's 1 hit. Now we got 4 MBTs. There is 1 hit. 4 next-gen MBTs. Okay, there's 2 land target selects and 1 general hit. 2 land target selects. And we got 2 attack choppers for 1 hit. And 5 attack bombers. Okay, so we got 2 general hits and 1 land target select. So land target select goes to 3, and then 2 more general hits makes this 7. So that's 10, 12 hits in total. There's 8. Okay, there's more than that defending. All right. So we have 2 early gen fighters on air superiority. They miss. We have 2 paramilitary. They both miss. 4 early gen MBTs. They all miss. And 8. That's right. Count them. 8 MBTs. Holy Jesus. They only got 1 hit out of all that. Whew. It's a good thing the Soviet Union's already crumbling, or somebody would be in big, big, big trouble right now. Okay, so 3 land target select hits is going to kill 3 MBTs. Take that off. 2 air hits kills the early gen fighters. Take that off. 7 general hits. So there's 6. There's 4, 6, 7. Take that off. 1 general hit for NATO. They're going to kill the SAM, of course. And we're going to round 2. There are 4 defenders left. So let's get 5 attack bombers in there and see what they can do. Yep, there's 4 hits. That's what's needed. Okay. 4 Soviets defend. For 1 land target select hit and 1 general. Okay, get them off here. 1 land target select. They can't hit the next gens because it wasn't a 1, so they're going to kill an MBT. And then 1 general hit NATO will take on a mech. Okay, that's another land battle star for NATO. I'll see, Smolensk. I can't read it from here. I think it's 3, but I can't read it from this far away, so I'll put things back and get the Leningrad attack over here, and then I'll update you on income changes. Okay, here we go with the Leningrad fight. Oh wait, I'm going to update you. Smolensk was worth 3, so NATO's up to 84. Soviets are down to 41. Now we're on to this one. No first strike for anybody. No terrain. We do have 3 mechs boosted by a pair of attack choppers. Okay, so one ASF. Miss. 1 advanced ASF. Okay, there is an air hit. And 1 fighter on air superiority. There is a 2nd air hit. So that's 2 more air battle stars for NATO. Now we have 3 mechs at 4. There's 2 general hits. Now we have 2 MBTs. They miss. We have 2 attack choppers for 1 general hit. And then we have 8 next-gen MBTs. This may sting a bit. There's 4 land target select hits. Yeah, I said it may sting a bit. Yep, 4 land target select hits. Okay, so there are 4 early gen fighters on air superiority. They get 1 air hit. That's an air battle star for the Soviets. And now we have 4 early gen MBTs. 1 general hit. And 2 mechs. For nothing. Okay, 4 land target selects are going to kill the 2 mechs. And 2 of the 4 early gen MBTs. So that takes that off. 2 air hits by the attacker kills 2 early gen fighters. Take that off. 1 air hit by the defender. He is going to kill the ASF. That comes off. Now 3 general hits by the attacker. So following the same logic as the Smolensk battle, they're going to kill the 3 early gen MBTs and keep the early gen fighters that... Wait a minute. No, 2 of them had to go. What did I take off? I took off the... No, there was 2 air hits that had to be taken on early gen fighters, which there was 4 of. I don't know what I did. So there was 2 remaining. I made an error there somehow. So they killed the 3 early gen MBTs. That takes that off. And they have to take 1 general hit that they are going to take on a mech. And we go to round 2. So the advanced ASF, that gets an air hit. That's another air battle star for NATO. Now we've got, yeah, let's give the other fighter a shot and see what he can do. That's a 6, that'll do it. That kills both of the remaining defenders. And there is 1 hit in return. So these guys are gone. NATO, he's going to take the hit on a mech. Okay, there's another land battle star for NATO. And I'll put things back and get the Murmansk fight over here. Okay. Leningrad was worth 4, so that took NATO up to 88, Soviets down to 37. And here we are for the Murmansk battle. 6 cruise missiles in first strike, and the Soviets have decided they are going to use their SAM for missile defense rather than air defense. There's no terrain, no other adjustments. So, three AMD shots by the Soviets, and 2 of them found targets. So that's going to be 4 cruise missiles coming in with PGM, of course. And they got 2 hits. Well, that's not too bad. So those are land target select hits with PGM. So naturally, they're killing the 2 mechs. There's that. Those guys are done. Take them off. And now we go regular. So we've got 2 fighters on air superiority. There's 1 air hit. Another air battle star for NATO. They're racking up the battle stars this turn. Okay, now SAM with 2 air defense shots. Both miss. Light infantry gets a general hit. A mech misses 2 MBTs. 1 general hit. So we've got 2 early gen fighters on air superiority for 1 air hit. And that's an air battle star for the Soviets. Okay, then 2 early gen MBTs for nothing, and a Marine for nothing. Okay, air hit kills one of the early gen fighters. Air hit kills one of the NATO fighters. 2 general hits take the SAM and an early gen MBT. And move on to round 2. He goes to the box. So we have an infantry, a mech, maybe 2 MBTs. And I believe I can keep all this straight. White is going to be the light infantry, light blue is going to be the mech, red is the MBTs, and purple is the fighter. Okay, there's a hit by the light infantry, there's a hit by an MBT, and a hit by the fighter, and 3 hits is what they needed, so the Soviets are wiped out. So now we have early gen MBT gets a hit. Early gen fighter gets a hit. And Marine misses. Okay, so these guys are gone. 2 general hits here, take the light infantry and the mech. Okay, that's another land battle star for NATO. I will put these things back and then we'll go look things over. Okay, as a result of the fall of Murmansk, it was worth 2. NATO is now up to 90 on the IPP chart. The Soviets are down to 35. Let's go have a look here, because this is pretty well decimated the Soviet strategic forces. Since Murmansk is captured, the damaged nuclear shipyard and the damaged nuclear airbase are also captured and out of play. I'll take care of the SSBNs that haven't deployed yet in just a minute. If I remember correctly, the airbase will get a launch on warning, so the strategic nuclear bomber will get to fly one more mission on the Soviet turn. Capturing Leningrad and Smolensk has captured the 2 remaining missile silos, which will not get to fire on the Soviet turn. And this, let's see, this guy's gone because he lost his base. This, we got a Soviet fleet left here. They were not in port any longer. I left that mistake. But the only strategic forces the Soviets have left, of course, as I said, is the bomber, which will get to fly a launch on warning mission. And then they've got 2 damaged mobile ICBMs still. But in a home country, Moscow's in, or the Soviets are in a pretty bad way. 3 of their 4 surrender zones have now been captured: Western Ukraine, Murmansk, and Leningrad. Moscow's the only remaining surrender zone, and in home country, Moscow and Novgorod are the only 2 remaining army bases. Oh no, sorry. There's a damaged base down here in southern Caucasia as well. But it's not looking very good for the Soviet. We will have to see what they come up with. Okay, so now we go around here, and in port there at Murmansk was a Typhoon and a Red October. So we have to roll for those. We'll do the Typhoon first, 1 to 6. The SSBN was captured on 7 or higher. It gets to escape port and deploy. Okay, there's a 3. The Typhoon is captured. Now the Red October. There is a 9. The Red October gets to escape and continue fighting. So he comes off, and I think on the Soviet turn he gets to escape. So we will put him right there for now. Okay, that's it for combat. That took a little while. Non-combat movement. The fighter here flies back to his supercarrier in M10. The ASW chopper is going to stay where he is on patrol. Okay. These guys are moving forward into central Turkey. The SAM is going to go with them. The Marine's moving up there with them too. Okay. Move around this way. Actually, as long as I'm here, NATO has 2 heavy airlifts. So both of these ASW choppers are going to heavy airlift from Portugal to Marmara. There we go. Now we keep moving this way. The rest of the fleet in A12 is going to move up to A14 to join up with those guys. These 2 next-gen MBTs in Akershus move to Nordland. The fighter from Murmansk goes back to Nordland. The fighter and the advanced ASF from Leningrad go back to Baltic states. These guys are moving up here to Belarus to join the Americans. Everybody comes forward. So we can consolidate this now. Okay, that's that. The air from Volgograd's going back over here to eastern Ukraine. And I think that's it for non-combat. Oh, wait a minute. No, there's one more. The cruiser here. 1, 2, 3. Into M10. Now that's it for non-combat. So I'm going to put this right there for placing units. Okay, I think you'll be able to see everything. The 2 SSNs get built at the minor shipyard in Marmara, so they go here into M10. Those guys go into Marmara as well. I hear the Assistant Chief of Staff behind me calling the troops to attention for some reason. Okay, we've got 2 next-gen MBTs, a field artillery, a mech to tow the field artillery, and a pair of A-10s all going into Marmara. There's that. Now, ASF gets built on the supercarrier in M10. Okay, we got 2 fighters each going into Western Ukraine and Eastern Ukraine. Then an MBT and a SPAG also go into Western Ukraine. Well, I didn't write those other 2 down. Wasn't very good of me, but I know where they go. And we have 2 fighters go here into Baltic states, and well, I guess it's going to be 2 more. Oh no, that's a minor. We can only do 2 units there. So we will, looks like we'll have to do the other 2 MBTs. Let's put them here in Akershus. Okay, that is all units placed. So now money. NATO is up to 90, as I said. And they still just get +1 for North Yugoslavia. 91. 75. 85. 91. Plus the one they saved. We'll make 92 for next turn. And then let's tally up the... I just leaned over. These things are so damn brittle. I just leaned over the table and barely touched that paramilitary and snapped it off right at the ankles. There's 5, 10 more. So in case you're keeping score at home, NATO now has 27 battle stars in its bank. Okay, and then missiles. It's 6 cruise missiles and 3 initial missiles. Ozark Outpost. Over and out.